I've lived here for almost 4 years now. And I'm the first resident of at this building.
Okay.
It's only 4 years old.
Where were you living before?
Also in Amsterdam, in Bos en Lommer, which says nothing to you. It's in Amsterdam West, and it was a student's apartment.
Okay. And what was the process of getting this flat?
I was really lucky, because normally you have to be on a kind of waiting list for approximately 13 to 20 years. I only had 3 years or 4 years on the waiting list due to my own naivete. And we have a website. Every week there's new houses coming up, and you can say, well, I'd like to live in this house. And because this was a new apartment, there were 100 studios in one advertisement. So the chances were bigger to get a house.
And so did you immediately say, I want this building? Was this your first choice?
No, no. It was a process of about 6 to 12 months of replying every week to new houses, and you can select 2 houses every week, and then there's a waiting list, and everyone that replied will be in order of their original subscription. I think 6 to 12 months I'd been actively searching for a new house, because I had to leave my old apartment because I was no longer a student.
Okay. And when you selected, when they said yes to this building, did they give you the option of picking level, picking floor plan?
I was the last one, so no, I didn't. But other neighbors did. I was the last one, so I didn't have a choice. But it ticked a lot of boxes for me, because I wanted to be on the ground floor, because I'm hypermobile, and I tend to have accidents every now and then. So I wanted on the ground floor, not too big, because I do not like cleaning a lot. I preferred to have a new building and not that old, because of the heating, the way of cooking. So although it wasn't a choice for me, it ticked the most boxes.
Okay. And can you tell me a little bit about what your routine looks like, both during the weekday and the weekend?
On weekdays, I prefer to stay in bed as late as possible until the alarm goes off. I work at a big company, and we work hybrid, so I have to go to the office 2 days a week. On those days, my alarm goes at 6 o'clock in the morning. I make ready for work, do my maquillage, have breakfast, or I take my breakfast with me, prepare lunch, and then I go off, and I come home at around 6 p.m., between 5 and 6 p.m. Then I normally cook or reheat dinner, because most of the time I cook for 3 or 4 days. So I have a lot of prepared meals in my, not in my fridge, in my, when it's deep, ice. Freezer, thank you. And it's actually called vriezer in the Netherlands as well, in the Dutch. And in the evening, I mostly watch TV or read a book. I always end by reading a book to get calm, get sleepy, and I go to bed around 10 or 11 p.m. On the days I work from home, my alarm goes at 8. I immediately start working at my kitchen table until 5. Then I'll watch TV, check my socials, anything like that for an hour, and start cooking at around 6. And then the same goes for the evening, watch TV and read a book. Oh, and before I go to sleep, I always listen to a podcast. Otherwise I cannot sleep, so I always lay in bed, listen for a podcast to 1 or 2 hours before I fall asleep. And on weekends, I prefer to stay in bed as long as possible. So I'll get up around mostly between 9 and 10 a.m. I always start the day by reading a book or watch television. At 10 a.m. Well, I do. I cannot lie. I prefer to have breakfast a bit later, so around 11. And it depends on whether I have appointments with friends. I do not visit, I do not have friends over a lot. I do not like it when other people are in my house, so you're the exception. You're the exception. So I always go out. We go to musea or have lunch, have drinks. And on the days I always plan one day for me. I can do whatever I want because I have suffering is a hard word, but a lot of fatigue due to previous depression I had. So I'm really tired, and I try to have one day off to do whatever I want, and I always end up taking a nap around 2 p.m. till 5 p.m. and I really need those naps. And when I'm at home, I prefer to read books or listen to podcasts. And I prefer to go to bed around 1 or 2 a.m. normally in the weekend.
Okay. What are some of the benefits or challenges that you've found when working from home?
Benefits, well, obviously there's no waste of time due to traveling through commuting, but I have a round table. I have chairs without armrests, so that's a difficulty because my how do you call it? How you sit?
Your posture, yeah.
Your posture isn't that good. It's bad. And it gives pain in my shoulder. So that's a difficulty. But that's the only... Oh, and I have only one screen. Only a laptop screen. When I'm at work I have a laptop screen and a computer screen. A second screen to use.
Okay. So mainly the setup is what is challenging about it.
But I prefer to work from home.
Okay. And you mentioned some of the criteria that it ticked the box, this flat. Is there something you wish you would have known before moving in?
Well, yes. I'd like to have known that the way floor heating works. Is it called floor heating? Yeah. So the first year my bills were rocket high, sky high, and also I didn't know what the right settings were, because you use a lower Celsius degree with floor heating. So that's something I would have liked to know up front. anything else? I think I already knew everything.
Did you visit the flat before moving in, or
Yeah.
did you see it only in floor plans?
Before accepting, I only seen the floor plan. But before moving in, we had a moment to visit.
And so you said that the first year was when the bills were really expensive. Have those lowered ever since?
Sorry,
The bills? So like
the bills? No. And there's only one party who offers the floor heating. I have no choice. So, well, I do have a choice. I have a choice of being really cold in the winter, but stay rich, or get warm, but poor.
Is this something that you have complained about or raised?
Not personally, but I believe there's a collective of other neighbors who did, because a part of the costs are based on what you actually use, and there's also a part of costs that are the same for everyone. But because we do not have a choice of choosing a provider, it's not a fair cost. So there is a complaint about that, but it's still running.
And do you see yourself living here for many years? Do you think your home will fit your needs over time?
No. Because as you've seen, it's a studio, so my kitchen is my living room, is my bedroom. And of course, I prefer to have a separate bedroom. I also find the kitchen a bit too small. So I would like to have separate rooms, a bigger kitchen. But on the other hand, it's really hard to find a new house.
Would you only want a separate bedroom, or would you also want a separate kitchen, or are you...
No, I'm okay with an open kitchen, living room, but I prefer to have a prettier kitchen, not the cheapest tiles, the cheap white cabinets.
Okay. Yeah. What is something that you like about your home?
Oh wow. As if there's nothing I like. I like the way it's climate neutral. There's not my energy bill is really low. I do not have gas. That's one of my biggest pros. It's very well isolated, also very big pro, especially in summer when it's 38 degrees outside and 24 at max inside. I do like it's not my house, but the neighborhood. It's very quiet. We have all those gardens, shared gardens. I have a quite big balcony. Those are things I really like.
And things you dislike?
Well, again, the fact it's a studio. And it's also quite, the neighbors, although it's a new apartment, it's well isolated from anything outside, but I can hear my neighbor's music when he's playing it too loud. I can smell when he's smoking. I don't smoke. I do not like to smell smoke in my house, at my bedroom. Yeah, I do. It's mostly the neighbors. There's been happening some weird stuff. One neighbor urinated over my doorstep. Yeah. One neighbor took his knife to another neighbor. One neighbor thought he was Spider-Man and got over the balconies. Those kind of things are not normal. And they happen a lot. So the neighborhood itself is safe, but our building isn't.
We've heard that there has to be kind of a mix with the type of people that are also offered, such as people, homeless, or sometimes people with
and
mental health.
I totally agree with that, but I think they choose one group, and because it was a new building, they chose to cooperate with one. Well, what do you say? Stichting. Wait, Google Translate. Because I think you do not know what stichting means.
Foundation.
With one foundation or with one
Wow.
non-profit?
How do you? Yeah, a founding. Yeah. And well, it hasn't been a success. I preferred they cooperated with several foundations.
Okay. So that they don't really follow up with the people living here. Is that how you feel, or?
Yeah. No. Yeah. I know there are some regulations, and they need to give away 1/3 of the social house, but they had to cooperate with more than one foundation to make it more of a mixture.
Okay, you feel like it's a very similar profile.
Yeah.
The 1/3 that's here.
The 1/3 that's here, that's the same profile, and well, there would have been a lot of accidents.
Okay. In spite of the accidents, do you feel safe in your home?
Yeah, I do, but it's also because I'll stay out of trouble. I do not talk with a lot of neighbors. I do not feel the need to be that social with them. And I have a few neighbors who I can, well, we connected, we clicked. So they have my number, I have their number. So when I feel unsafe, I can always contact them.
Is that something that is important to you, kind of knowing your neighborhood or knowing your neighbors?
A few of them. Just 2-3 people who you can really trust. But I do not need to know all of them. I prefer to stay anonymous, and I'll also prefer them to stay anonymous.
Okay. Do you feel you have privacy at home?
No. Window. It's all windows. So I always shut my curtains and my shutters when I'm private, when I'm reading a book, watching television. Because you always look. Everyone that comes by at the street can watch me doing my business.
Okay. Even though this is a studio, do you think you have enough space, or do you feel like you can't do something because you don't have enough space?
There is enough space, but there aren't enough walls, which makes it quite complicated. Well, I would prefer to have a cabinet over here or something. Or, yeah, there's not enough space for me to put things at all. Furniture.
Okay. You mentioned that the kitchen you consider too small. Is this in terms of storage or in terms of like countertops?
Storage and countertops. And the top cabinets are really small, so my plates, well, they fit exactly. And I'm used to have a bigger cupboards. So no, it's a combination of the two. And the countertop, I only have a workspace and a dish space. So my blender, my juicer, everything has to be put in the cabinets because I cannot store them anywhere else.
The way you decorated and furnished, you kind of divided it into like very like separate areas. Yeah. How did you go about this, or how did you decide?
Well, it was always clear to me that my bookcase had to be a centerpiece in any home, not only this home, any home. Because I like reading books, and I also like to inspire other people to read books. So that's in this studio. It became a divider, but only because I already wanted to have a bookcase. Something else I did. I really like the color yellow, so I have a yellow kitchen, a yellow hallway, and I also in my sheets, I always have something with yellow as well, to make sure it's still one. And no, yeah, I just, there's no big plan. I always wanted to have a big round table because I like round tables. So yeah, it was chosen before I got this house.
Okay, so when you
I knew what I wanted, and of course there's also things I wanted that didn't make it because it's not the right space, not the right house. So it's a combination of knowing what you want, what you like, and try to feel the space, which sounds a bit fake, but it is. It's fake.
Yeah, really. You do need to
Yeah,
live in
you
it.
need to feel, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Other than painting the walls, what were some of the changes you made when you moved in?
Painting the walls and the floors. The floors are also chosen by me.
Okay.
And other alterations, well, I have no right to alter my kitchen or alter my bathroom. That's not in the contract. Or it is in the contract that we cannot change. Not without an official agreement.
So the painting and the floor, you had to go through them.
No,
also?
that's just
okay.
That's okay. But if I'd like to make a real divider between the bedroom and the kitchen, living room, that's something that's specifically in the contract. We cannot do it without consult. So, well, and I'm also not very well. Let's say I have painting is really hard for me to do it nicely. So I'm not that good. I'll need to use a contractor, and I do not have the money. And also, I will only do that when I bought a house. It's an investment.
If you were to change any additional aspects, or if you had the opportunity to change
kitchen. I would make this window. I will take it out, take it down, make it a wall. Big kitchen, a lot of countertops, wooden kitchen with a wooden countertop and colorful cabinets. I would also change the bathroom, the tiles again, and also put in a bed. And I would, well, no, I don't think I will change the fact it's a studio. Although I prefer to have a separate bedroom, it will get too dark if I put up a divider, a real divider, a wall. So I'll only alter the kitchen and put down one window and the bathroom.
In the bathroom, only the tiles is what you would
The
change.
tiles and
Uh,
put in a real bath
okay, yeah. Okay, perfect.
so I can go do some groceries at Lush.
What are some of the maintenance problems that you've had in your flat?
None, I believe. Yeah, none.
That's great.
If it's alright with you, none.
Okay, great.
I had, well, although I did find a few cockroaches earlier this summer, but pest control visited me a few times. They are not in my house, so they came from outside of in my house. I don't know.
But that was resolved.
But that was really the only thing.
Okay. And how do you feel that your home impacts your health and your well-being?
A lot. Because it has to be a safe space, it has to be, for me, quiet space. Somewhere I can be private. I prefer to be private, be alone, have some alone time. And this house offers me exactly that. So, yeah, I do believe it's yeah.
Okay. And what do you think about your outdoor space?
My balcony is quite big in comparison to other homes in Amsterdam. Most people in Amsterdam do not have a balcony or a garden. So I'm really glad I have a balcony, and I'm also really glad with all the gardens within my neighborhood. I like the architecture work. And it gives me a little piece of nature within the big city.
What do you think is something unique about your flat?
Well, I am so cocky. Something unique. I think it's not something within my own home, but the buildings in this area all together it's the area. It feels like a big like in Barcelona or Madrid, those fancy big apartment buildings. It gives a very luxury feeling. And I think that's unique for social housing.
Is this type of construction very different to what you grew up with?
Yeah. But I grew up in a real home with multiple stories.
You mentioned that you would want to purchase something in the future. Would you like to purchase a house or?
Well, I would like to purchase a home, and I also know it's not very realistic. So I try not to dream a lot about it. But if I can dream about it, I would like to have some raw old building. Still would like to have a loft or studio, but then a big one with the old construction walls, and but that's something that's really expensive and also very rare.
But that does sound very nice. Do you feel like your home now is affordable for you?
Yes and no. It is affordable because I have a good job. But the floor heating is still very expensive and not it's not taken up in my godhuur.
In your like benefits or
No.
in your
Rent.
rent?
Wow. In my rent it's
Separate.
separate. So I do think it's I can afford it, but I don't think it's affordable to any citizen of the Netherlands. Well, it should be.
What for you, for example, would be, how would you define affordability?
Like 1/3 of your income without any additional costs. So you have two-thirds left for your groceries, all your assurances, and just drinks, dinner parties, whatever, vacations. But now it's like 50-50. Like half of my income goes to my house.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's not even mine.
Okay. And for example, in terms of space, how do you define or how do you feel is enough space for you?
Well, this is exactly enough space for me. Like 50 square feet. But I'm alone, so when you're living with a partner or have children, I think you at least need 70 to 80 square feet. If you have multiple children, you at least need 100 square feet.
And has the last 4 days changed how you view your flat or how you view your routine?
No. No. I also tried not to alter my habits. But it didn't change my view on my house.
Okay.
Or my way of living.
Okay. And if you were to define a decent home standard, what would be some of the criteria that would go into defining what housing quality is?
How do you mean?
Like what criteria, like kind of, you mentioned the
Yeah,
boxes,
tick the boxes,
that
yeah.
are important for you,
Well,
but in general, what for you is housing quality, or what should a decent home have?
It shouldn't have gas. It should be climate neutral. It should be really well isolated. Normally, it should have a separate bedroom. And no, those are the most important. Oh no, not, I missed one. It should be next to any public transport.
Perfect.
And it should, oh no, it also should have, sorry, it should have, well, this area we mostly have homes, but there's no any other grocery store, supermarket, a little bar or cafe. It should have those elements as well.
So to get to those services, you have to go to the other side, or you have to go further up north, or
yeah, both.
there's-
But not here. Well, it's not that far. It's like 10-15 minutes by bike. But I miss it to have it here. So when I work from home, I'd like to get a sandwich at a little bar or coffee bar There will open one very soon, but we haven't yet.